emergency exits through the doors to my left and into the hallway to the right. And there is no longer an emergency window. Exit window. Here, eh?
No, there is.
Do you need it?
There is a
The
window.
door. So
The door, so wait.
There's a rescue window up there.
Is there?
Yeah, it doesn't have a
Then
stick.
it's not marked. We make a note that it's not marked. Okay. Thank you all for coming. We'll have a quick agenda before we get to some of our updates. First, may I have a motion for approval of the financial reports?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion acknowledging receipt of the financial reports, please.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
And any discussion on that? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any correspondence that we have received, I guess this is since our last meeting, it's been posted outside. And we get on to items for information and the opening of our schools. Dr. Johnson.
Thank you. It has been eerily quiet for the last 2 days. Our opening, despite all of the work that went on in the school district, was smooth. I think from the point of view of our students, they would not have known that anything was different this year than in prior years, despite the fact that we had summer programs in places where they had never been before. We had that literally shut down both the high school and the middle school for the entire summer. And I'm very proud to say that the staff that we had on with us during the summertime did an absolutely fabulous job in following up after all of the activities that took place and all of the construction that took place in preparing our schools so that in fact they would be very welcoming places for our children when they arrived on our doorstep on Tuesday. And I think that's the way in which our kids felt. I certainly had that feeling when I met with the teachers last week and traveled around the school district as I did yesterday and today. The interesting part about the staff here is that they jump in with both feet every year. It's just amazing to see how quickly we are back into a regular routine. And literally within hours after the kids are there, you would hardly know that there was 2 months hiatus between the time that they finished in June and the time that we take up again a new year here in September. So it turned out to be a very smooth opening. As you will hear in a little while, we still have a lot of work to do here in the school district and follow up to the bond issue, but nothing that would interfere with our ability to provide instruction in the classroom. So my congratulations to our staff, my thanks to our custodial staff and to everybody else that contributed to the opening of schools. It was very smooth and fabulous. So thank you very much, Mr. Nurse.
Okay. Moving on to update on teaching of the Holocaust in the district. The following question.
Thank you, Aaron. You know what, I'll turn this over to, although I've been working with Mr. Pelletieri on this during the summer, I'll let him summarize since he really is the person that's going to be coordinating our efforts here in the school district.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson, Mr. Mason. The district did take quite a long and extensive look with our middle school principal administration, our high school principal administration, so we even spoke with our elementary principals in regards to reflecting on what took place last year, some incidents toward the end of the school year at the middle school, and how we might get better, so to speak. That was really our task. And so I know at the high school, we are having some specific lessons, in-class lessons with our students in the ELA and social studies classes that will speak specifically and directly to incidents of hate and through writing and through social studies lessons and history lessons, being able to address concerns and issues there. Specifically, I know in ninth grade, it was a concern for us as students were coming up from eighth grade, from the middle school. The middle school will be having a series of lunch study events in September and October that will again specifically address incidents of oppression and incidents of hate and hate language and hate speak, so to speak. And all of that will be done throughout this year, starting in September and October, and again in their usual classes that they teach in ELA, art, and history. As we learned last year, there'll be specific talk and content around those issues. And the main piece of what's going to be different in the district this year is we are having a professional development day for our educators. We're working with the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, and the day's entitled Echoes and Reflections. They are, in fact, the ADL real leaders in Holocaust education. They highlight their professional development. I'm reading directly from it now. Insofar as it's relevant, it's resource intensive, it's up to date, and it's accessible. It's provided in a 21st century forum. Teachers will walk away with certifications and a resource guide. It's going to take place again all day up here at the high school. It's going to include middle school, ELA, social studies, art teachers, and high school teachers as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any board members have questions?
For the teacher in the classroom, are they doing it out of what they want? Are they going to be brought together before they teach these issues in class, or speak about the issues in class, or how would that work?
This day will provide an impetus for us in terms of how we will approach and utilize resources throughout the year.
But you said that staff development was until later on.
That's in October. That's like October 27th. That's right.
But then you made reference that it would be in classrooms in September and October. So how is that?
There'll be lunch. It's in lunch study in September and October in the middle school, and that's going to be led by our administrators, and they will talk specifically with the resources that they have in place already and some of the things that they put together. And again, we would follow up. We don't want to wait too long into the year to have those conversations. So we're going to start those conversations, and then we'll utilize these resources as we go throughout the year.
Mr. Murphy, we're going to have anything up here at the high school?
Yes, am I allowed to talk just from here, or do I have to go to the
Unfortunately, you have to go to the mic.
You don't have a wireless connected to your
You
thigh?
can go over here if you want.
Yes,
Come over here.
face the audience.
You make them so you can make announcements while you're walking through the hallway.
After speaking with Mr. Pelletieri over the summer and talking to the Anti-Defamation League, we didn't want to wait until late October, so I met myself with both ninth grade ELA teachers and the Global Studies Department. In the ninth grade Global Studies, there'll be two specific lessons, and I did meet with the teachers. The first of which is during a memoir unit, talking about specifically symbolism and symbols. Under the quotation by Sartre, words and symbols are more powerful and treacherous than we think. Specifically referring to the swastika under the context of you don't have to be Jewish to be offended by it. And just because you're not doesn't mean that you're not responsible for understanding the connotation and the deep-seated feelings that others have for it. It's about responsibility, text types, both symbols and words, and the responsibility in a democracy for us to understand the sensitivity that everyone has to those issues. That will be elaborated upon in global studies and will culminate in a unit in ninth grade English to expand upon that it just doesn't pertain specifically to the swastika, but also to other symbols in language of oppression in a long-standing unit that will start with To Kill a Mockingbird, which is an existing work that we've used traditionally. We moved it up to the first semester because it lent itself to the discussion on symbolism and hate speech.
There's an additional program that I know our high school and middle school are interested in. It's entitled No Place for Hate. It's something that we partner with the ADL for certain exercises that take place in the buildings at different times throughout the year, and I know we're working on that at the high school as well as the middle school.
Anyone else?
What time of year does the middle school do their lessons?
On the Holocaust.
Historically, yes, that's later in the year around the springtime, January, February, so they'll certainly have these resources at the ready.
It doesn't extend to just 9th grade. For instance, with the ADL, 10th grade English and global studies teachers, because that is specifically where we deal with the Holocaust. It's also where we reunite. So it's not just an isolated incident approach.
And that's what is important about this, that we don't just have a day or an assembly or something like that, that we embed it in part and parcel of what we do.
Good? Yeah, thank you. Update on school improvement fund and capital projects.
I'm going to start by thanking this man to my left here who really did a yeoman's job this summer in coordinating the efforts and working tirelessly with the construction management firm and with our construction people directly. Not only did he work with me in coordinating and with Mr. Murphy in coordinating things, but he also worked directly with all the people in the construction. And I really want to thank him for the time and effort that he put in. He did a great job, Robert. Thank you very much. On that note, I think I will just kind of turn it over to you to summarize where we are in the district bond issue.
Sure. I'm going to go through kind of building by building and end up here at the high school, since there was quite a bit of work that was done in all of our buildings. Most of it was bond work, but there was some of it that was done by our own maintenance staff and custodial staff. So starting at Colbert, we had masonry restoration and repointing work on a great deal of the building. We have fresh air units that were placed in a number of interior spaces in the building. The auditorium was painted. We have a new gate and sidewalk for the kindergarten playground, and there was a sidewalk repair around the bus loop. At Hewitt School, we had the cornice painting, which is the building trim, the upper building trim. We have PA replacements, which is in the testing mode right now. We're running that parallel with the old system, but we should be able to change over to that very shortly. The cafeteria table storage area off the gym was completed. It just needs a ceiling grid installed. There are additional fresh air units at Hewitt as well. There's still some piping that needs to be done in some of those units. The gym air conditioning was completed, and they expect to start up by the end of this week. There are some control issues, but they're working on those now. We're expecting that to be working by the end of the week. We replaced the handicap ramp and steps in the back of the building, and we renovated one of the classrooms near the main office for our new RISE program. At Riverside School, I have fresh air units in the spaces in the building. We replaced a condensate pump for the heating system. We had quite a bit of masonry restoration and repointing work around the building, as well as all of the fire escapes were repaired and repainted. There's also a fire alarm system replacement that is almost finished. It needs a little programming, and then we'll go through a test as we're running parallel with that system as well. And the gym air conditioning there, we're expecting that startup to be finished tonight, so that should be working by tomorrow. At Watson School, there was renovation of the bathroom in the main office. We had a new asphalt walkway put out by the field, and we did have additional drainage installation installed in the field. We are still watching that and still having some concerns over that area, so there may be some additional work that we need to do. We're keeping an eye on that. At Wilson School, again, fresh air units in the building. We have boiler replacement that was done. We expect that to be tested next week, so that should be complete within a couple of weeks. The gym air conditioning there was completed, should be operational as of today. We have a fire alarm and a PA system replacement, which has been progressing. They still need to be extended out to the portables. The main building really is complete, so we're expecting that to be finished by the end of next week. and we had some stage rigging repairs going on there. Moving on to the middle school, and a lot bigger projects. We had a complete auditorium renovation, which the renovation was complete. We're still working on some repairs with the speaker system and some of the controls there, but for the most part that auditorium has been completed. We have a library renovation that was also done, and that is also finishing up. We're waiting for some shelving units to be finalized and some additional cabinet work in the side room. But most of that work had been completed. We had both the choral room and the band room went through complete renovations. The choral room is completed. The band room still needs a railing on the back stairs. We had roofing repairs across the entire roof. Well, we had a number of issues with rain and leaks last year. We had portions of our roofs replaced over the summer. We had all of the penetrations into the roof addressed. New flashing went on across all the chimneys and vents that are in the roof of the building. So all that work was complete, and that was quite a big job. We had fresh air units again going into the middle school. Masonry restoration and pointing work completed there, along with fire escape repairs and painting. We had additional paving and drainage repairs that we've done around the back of the building, as well as drainage repairs in the front of the building, which are addressing some of the roof water coming down through the drains to get that away from the building. We also had drainage repairs in the courtyard. Both in the courtyard, we've had issues with drainage there. We had a number of repairs that we've done in both of those areas, which were completed. Kitchen ceiling tile replacements, bathroom renovations for the faculty bathrooms were done. We got new lockers in the girls' locker room. There were some bathroom repairs in the boys' locker room. We had the stoop at the northwest entrance was repaired, removed all bluestone which had been crumbling. We re-cemented that entire staircase. Gym was repainted. We had repaired and repainted the fourth floor landings, which had been chipping and peeling due to the leaks from the roof. Hoping that has been finished, but that work in the landings has been repaired. We had a wall that was falling down in between the two gyms in that stairwell. Again, because the leaks are now finished, we were able to finish off that wall. Still needs to be painted, but it has been repaired. And big thing left, really that has not started yet, is in the stairwells. The stair treads are going to be replaced. That's going to start this weekend because the staircase is out of use, so we're only going to be doing that over weekends and breaks. So we have 4 sets of stairs to do. We're going to start the first ones this weekend. Finishing up here at the high school, obviously kind of the centerpiece of the bond issue and getting everything done. We did have the new south wing was completed, along with numerous main building renovations. Just kind of go through a list of what we gained out of this. We have all of our science rooms are brand new. Chemistry, biology, physics, all of them brand new classrooms. We have a new science research room and greenhouse. There's still a little work going on in the greenhouse. We have a new library space and a library classroom. We have a new life skills room for our core program. Here we have new cafeteria spaces on this side and the other side of the kitchen, as well as a brand new kitchen. All completed over the summer. We have also a new teacher's lounge. Last year we kind of we were using the fitness center as kind of a makeshift teacher's lounge. Didn't have a kitchen area or anything in that. So now we have another space for all of our teachers. We have a separate lounge. We have a separate kitchen area for them, which has not been operational yet, but that should be completed sometime this weekend. We also have a new commons area in our new south wing, which is large, so it's got a double classroom space, almost about the size of this room, to be used for a number of different activities, possibly hold board meetings there if it gets too warm. And in these rooms, that is air conditioned. staff development, training, different things that can go on in that space. We have new testing centers in the south wing. We have our new Z-Space classroom, which we had changed over from the business classroom. We have new hallway lockers throughout the building. We have new lockers in both the boys and the girls' locker rooms. We have new bathrooms that were added in the south addition. We also had bathrooms that were was the special ed office. Before the special ed office, a number of years ago, was gang bathroom, boys and girls, converted to the special ed office. They moved out last year. That was reconverted over the summer back to those boys and girls gang bathrooms. So I think that was sorely needed around the building. That gives bathrooms, kind of at each end of the building as well as in the middle. We have a new parking area outside, which kind of goes around the back of the building. All the way on the back of the south addition, we're not going to utilize too much of that parking area at first because we're using that for access to get into kind of the final stage of the bond issue, which is really the practice turf field, which will be around the back of the building. Right now that's being used as a staging area for all of the work on the building. But they're beginning to clean that area up, and we'll begin work on that artificial turf practice field, expecting that to be finished by this December.
Demolition of the final and last portable here?
Demolition of the final and last portable is scheduled for Saturday, September 17th. That's coming up shortly.
Ribbon cutting?
Are we gonna
Ribbon
video?
cutting, a demo.
Are we gonna record that?
You too can come here and walk away with a splinter right from the past.
Souvenir day.
Souvenirs.
So we did a tremendous amount of work, as Dr. Johnson said, and I also would like to congratulate all of our maintenance staff and custodial staff. They did a tremendous job getting our buildings ready through difficult conditions. All of our buildings were being used throughout the summer with our different summer programs. Middle school and high school, we kind of kept everybody out because of the extent of the work that was done here, but all the elementary schools had programs going on within their buildings, so they couldn't clean them all as they normally have. So we really needed every one of our building staff to step up this summer, and then I think they all came to the task and did a terrific job. So I'd like to thank them as well.
Sure.
At the middle school, at the Riverside, Robert, on the walk through that music room where we decided to put a unit in.
Yes.
We had offered up, the district was going to install shelving and all that, so that was going to be utilized. Are we on track with all that?
Yes, we're having our main staff go over to work with the principal and design that shelving area. Has not been done yet, but it will be done over the next couple of weeks.
And just, you have down the middle school rails in the ballroom are done, they're not done. Just plywood up where the spokes are supposed to be. So I was just there to say.
Well, are you talking about the two music rooms? No,
One
that's...
room, but not the second room.
The rail is there, but not the spokes going down, so they're not finished, they're still working.
No, they're not. It's supposed to be a lift.
No, I'm talking about
Just
the actual
the
rail
rail,
itself.
Yeah.
The courtyards at the middle school are not running construction. They just finished digging the one that's just a pile of dirt, and then they're doing the deck. They're refurbishing the one of them, and they still have to refurbish the other. So it's not complete. The back stairs wall to the gyms. There's sheetrock up and a coat of spackle, and
Needs to be
part of it's tiled, part of it's not, where it was ripped out. I mean, I can't imagine we're gonna leave tile up this way, have sheetrock and then tile up there. So, and the man that was working on it said he was just finishing it, painting it.
Right, the plan is just to finish it and paint it as a regular wall. Do you want to put tile up?
No, I'm saying maybe you take, taking the tile down, it looks ridiculous. Where you have tile halfway up, a big gap, and then a little bit of tile up there. I mean, I would think.
That would be a board decision. You'll have to...
Let's get some pictures of it
Yeah.
at least and
Yeah.
send it to us. Along with dollars.
Those are the only things that I.
Robert, classroom air conditioning. Are all of our classrooms air conditioned?
Yes.
Yes.
Functioning?
That is
I was gonna say, functioning, it turns on.
Yeah, we have issues with them in some of the buildings, but they're all operational. There have been a few leaks that we've had to go back and address, but they're all operational.
Have all the air conditioners that were in some of these classrooms that are no longer needed in those classrooms, have they all been removed?
No.
No. We have not removed them. I want to make sure that the rooms themselves that have the new air conditioning and an old unit are functioning well and properly before we go through and remove them. We will then go through that process.
That process should include recycling.
Yes. To the extent that we can, we will recycle them. I know one of our goals is trying to get them in this side of the cafeteria. We have some extra units that we can get taken care of.
Just to point, so the public knows, there are, I'll underestimate it, hundreds of items, as in any construction job. There's a punch list.
Yes.
So as you walk around, you're going to see all these things. It's not done, but
Right.
we're not listing every single item, but there
Right,
are
there are quite a
there
few.
are many issues to finish. So if you walk down the hall and notice there's a hole in the wall or something's missing, it's in the process of being finished.
Yeah, an example could be like the hold open for the store. You see, these doors are supposed to hold open electronically. You can see a little panel there that doesn't have a spot. So there's a number of those throughout the building. But as Dr. Johnson said, as O'Shea said, it doesn't prevent us from using the rooms.
And Mr. Murphy, what's the staff and the kids' reaction here?
Wow. It was, the kids acclimate far more readily than we do. So by the second period, it was as if they'd been here all along. Wow is the definitive word. There's a lot more tired students than there are in the past from walking from one end of the very large building to the other. It's extraordinary. It's really lifted spirits.
And is the 4 minutes enough?
Yes.
Yes?
And the congestion has been significantly
It's
limited.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
So it worked?
Yep.
That's a good thing.
Were they lost on day one? So the older students?
The students were not.
No.
Some
The
teachers need
faculty?
help.
Have you found them yet?
But yeah, we have flares that we send. It's been amazing, 2 days, and it's just like we've always been here.
Okay. Will we at one point host an open house? Is that reserved for back to school night?
There are a couple of things we've talked about, one of which is to do just that and possibly invite people to come on in some evening when in fact we can do a demo on all of the various rooms and the programs that we have available to our kids. I'm not sure how we may want to do that. We also want to do a film similar to what we did the last time so that we can put it on the internet so that people will be able to see firsthand some of the work that was done.
They work best if it wasn't on an evening of a board meeting.
Right,
Oh,
not
no,
just
I'm not suggesting that it be done on it, no.
But something a little more,
In
Yeah.
depth.
Yep.
right.
And it maybe have a couple of different things going on simultaneously, and people can choose as to what they want to see and when.
But not on back to school night.
No, no,
because
no,
that-
no, no,
That's
no, no.
That's crazy.
building up.
No, it would be nice to open it up to the community at large to say
Yeah,
we're having
some
an open
ideas.
house.
Right.
Please come and see what your bond dollars,
Yeah.
what your tax dollars have provided the school district.
I would certainly like to see.
It's in the formative stages. The thought was also always, for instance, ninth grade orientation is a blur, where we introduce incoming 8th graders to the building, and because there's so much being done at that night, wouldn't it be nice if we took some of that and expanded it into an open house where, there'd be a band in the lobby, students doing improv in the auditorium, robotics clubs in the science wing, to fully utilize. This is what we do outside of instruction that makes this place tick, to really celebrate the
And
things
it's a
that we
way
have
for
to offer.
different clubs or organizations to sell themselves. to
And the clubs and organizations that really do get short shrift during 8th grade orientation. To give them really an opportunity to celebrate the building and their work.
Maybe we can also open it up to alumni.
The community, it's that.
We have an alumni association also, right?
Yep.
We can get it out on their Facebook page and stuff like that.
You'll get the big wows from them, because they know what it was.
They do, and it's so interesting to talk to people that were in the building and went here, attended Southside, who are now parents, returning to Southside right now, and it's like getting somewhat disoriented because things like the library are just nowhere to be found where they used to be.
Even at the boardwalk for the parents and the PTA who went to school here that way.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. Moving on. Opportunity for superintendent.
Thank you very much. A few things I'd like to say. One, really haven't publicly congratulated you, Mr. Mason, on taking over the presidency. This is the appropriate time, I think, at the beginning of the school year rather than during the summer, but nevertheless, I think many people realize that the volume of work that goes along with being a president. So we thank you very much. Nothing. A lot of time. Congratulations on being elected to that position, and thank you for, although it's not new to you, it is an honor to be selected.
The room's upside down.
Yeah. Number two, for those of you who may not realize, the Board of Education was responsible for this bond issue, was in fact responsible for this new high school, for the work that's being done in all of the facilities that Mr. Bartels just a few moments ago described. Actually, the people in this community has voted to support that, but the plan and the idea and the courage to go forward with that really sits here with this Board of Education. They really need to take a look around this building, and as a matter of fact, not only do they need to take a look around this building, they were here many times during the summer. Mr. Bartels and I were here on a daily basis, and it was not at all an unusual experience to bump into one or more of the members of the Board of Education who themselves found their way into the building during the summer. So my thanks to them for the leadership that was necessary in order to get this done, to the vision that you had of what this community could in fact take on, and to an incredible project. And so on behalf of all of us here, on behalf of the community, thank you very much for your wisdom, your insight, your leadership. Many, many generations will have an opportunity to be very thankful for the work that you guys did and the thoughtfulness that you put into this plan. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Last thing, although it's somewhat old news, it's something that we really didn't have an opportunity to address last spring. But these rating agencies that are associated with publications like Newsweek, the Washington Post, and U.S. News and World Report, the last one that came out in the year, a number of people asked, why was Southside not on that list? Well, really, in short, we are an IB school, and there wasn't a single IB school from New York State on that list. So that's the short story. Mr. Murphy has done a very, very thoughtful and I thought in-depth analysis. We can certainly share that with you at a public meeting when we come up maybe in October as to why, what's right and what's wrong about these lists. I'm not sure that it's worth our effort to do that, but it's really not what we are about. But nevertheless, they continue to garner time in the newspaper, time in the press, and not that it's a waste of anybody's time to think that that's really the goal. It is not. It's nice to see your name on a list, but in this case, understand that it was clear, very clear in the way in which they put together the various aspects of how they put their rating together, that IB was considered a second class to advanced placement, and consequently very few nationwide and no New York State IB schools ended up on that list. So, anyway, that concludes my remarks, and that's it.
I just want to ask one question, Mr. Murphy. No New York State IB school.
Correct.
Other states had IB schools listed?
Yes.
So where's have you been able to ascertain where the correlation is?
You want the short version of
Yes.
the short version? They were magnet schools,
Magnet.
testing schools.
Okay, any non-magnet schools? Any public
No.
IB high school?
No, not a one.
Okay. Thank you.
Even in New York State, Mark, there are a number of
Oh, no,
magnet
okay.
schools that are IB magnet schools. Up in Buffalo, there's one, which has always traditionally been on these lists, and they were not there this time either.
City honors.
To be honest, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Look forward to hearing more. Opportunity for board members. I think we'll start to my left. Sound left-handed. All the way to the left. Anyone?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank our administration here at this table and in every building. It was quite a summer, and it was everywhere. It wasn't just in this building, it was all the buildings. A lot of work, a lot of foresight and thinking went into it, and planning, and every building opened and they all looked fantastic, and that is in thanks to our terrific custodial staff, maintenance staff, and all the people, and even our teaching staff, and all our staff, just everybody went above and beyond this summer to make sure that our schools would be open and welcoming to the students, to the families, looking forward to a very successful year, and I know we have some new things, in particular Z-Space at the high school. I'd like to hear some more about that and so on. So welcome back to everybody, and enjoy the school year and the new building and the air conditioning, even though it's not good. That's it.
Me? Okay, so I think I'm going to echo everything that everyone's already said. Welcome back. Mr. Mason, congratulations on your presidency, and thank you. Yeah.
Ted, yours?
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. And the buildings look amazing. You can see it when you walk through the buildings because things have changed. You feel it because the classrooms are air conditioned. You hear it because we have PA systems that work. It is remarkable. A lot of work went into it. And during all of the insanity, where this building was with rubble, and the middle school was a mess, we also had to plan for this year. And that often gets left out. So curriculum was being written at the same time, and we have a new IB business, thank you, course coming in for this year. So it's so much goes on here, and I'd like to thank everybody also. And I will echo what Dr. Johnson said. Mr. Bartels, he sits here and reads things, and we ask him finance questions all the time. But all summer long, in all the past 3 years, we would say, why is that cable hanging there? And Mr. Bartels would have to tell us the answer. Why is that cable? And he would know the answer. Robert, you've been amazing. So thank you. And I can't wait to do, not a walkthrough, but an open house here. If you haven't seen the middle school auditorium, you gotta go see the middle school auditorium, because it really came out.
Looks like a Broadway theater.
Yeah. It's great. It's gonna be a great year. I'm looking forward to it.
I'd like to welcome everybody back. Also, did all the thanks and the hard work that went into getting this to where it is. The science rooms are amazing. What we can look forward to now out of science is going to be unbelievable, because what they did in a closet for the past 50 years, now they have a room with windows and all. So that's what I'm looking forward to, the achievements we get out of this new refined space. And the space is amazing. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful to look at. And as far as being on a list of the top 100 schools, I think we should spend more time recognizing our graduation rates and the achievements of our students as they go through college and go further into life. And that, I know that's our goal, and I know that's what we strive for, but something that I'd rather see a list of, the percentage of students that graduate at the great grades that they do, and where they go and how they achieve, as far as fighting the battle of some people in an office deciding, let's put these schools on a list of the 100 best schools. So that's what I get out of this district, how great, the greatness that we provide here that the students can take and achieve in later on in life. So that's my take on that.
Well, welcome back. Ditto to everything else everyone else said. Dr. Johnson, thank you. That thank you extends to all your assistant superintendents for the tremendous amount of work that they did in fighting for everything that the children of Rockland Center need in the renovations that have taken place in all our buildings, not just up here. All the administrators, the directors, the principals. This has been more than the last couple of years. This has been a process that I'm thinking 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even longer, the workings, where people have thrown their thoughts and ideas into the ring. But there's one person that stands out amongst all of them. And I have to say, if that person could, in my mind, at least be recognized with an honorary degree in construction management or an honorary doctorate in construction management, that would go to Mr. Bartels. He was amazing, having his fingers in every aspect of the construction and the bond issue, and having the answers and or getting the answers that not just the board needed, but the contractors and everyone else that was involved in the process. So my hat's off to Robert, thank you. In addition to that, high school custodial staff, the grounds and facilities, people that did an amazing job, not just this year, but last year as well, because we forget the other building was constructed last year, and they went through hell keeping up with everything that they had to keep up with over the summer. And then they had to do it again this year, and it was worse, I think, this year than it was last year. So again, my hat's off to those people. Staff throughout the district, all the custodial staff, and that worked in all our buildings over the summer, whether they were shorthanded or whatnot, had multiple projects, in addition to the summer programs that were going on around the district, being placed into buildings that they've never placed in before, and just, staff members having to realign how they normally do things over the summer period. A lot of planning went into this. And I said a lot twice, because there's a lot of planning went into this. And thank you. Chris, I happened to attend the BOCE's Barry Tech open house with a number of our Southside students that are going there this year. I was very honored to be there, very amazed at the amount of programs that they offer, and just amazed. Barry Tech is the program where they go for, I think, construction, electrical, plumbing, automotive, every different aspect of tech. It's an amazing school. I was very impressed. And it was nice to know that some of our children here take up on that. Even kids in veterinary science and stuff like that. Welcome back.
Do we know how, in the future, can you give us a percentage or a number of students who take advantage of the BOCE program? Not now, I'm not asking for now. It'd be interesting to find out what the students available to that's available to them. You don't know that?
I'll give you a couple of numbers. One of them is going back to the question you asked earlier about the graduation rate with the Regents diploma is over 99%, or virtually 100%. I think more important is the advanced designation. Regents with advanced designation were over 86%. We're up in that rarefied air. Very few school districts in the state are able to achieve that. And we are probably, if not the only, one of the very few internationally of a regular high school with an IB diploma rate up around 35%. So we've been averaging about 35%. And some of those schools that we talk about nationally that require entrance exams for kids to be allowed to attend, either they be magnet or a charter school, IB, their diploma rates are not or comparable to what we have here at Southside High School. It is remarkable what we're able to accomplish here. So you're absolutely right.
Those are the great numbers.
They are, and they are very, very closely connected and intimately connected to the fact that the vast majority of our kids, unlike what happens nationally, graduate from college in 4 years. Very, very important component of what it is that we do here at Southside. So I think I said that succinctly. I don't know if Mr. Murphy, if there's anything you wanted to add to that. But you're right, we do spend a lot of time attending to those numbers, and quite frankly, I think they speak volumes about what we do here. And we can't really worry about everything that appears in Newsweek.
Okay, two more things.
Oh, really?
One, congratulations, Mr. Mason. Being president. And also, I don't know who's in charge of the lunch program, but I heard the breakfast program, 2 thumbs up. A lot of the kids were nice to see that they had French toast this morning.
Is that something new?
Very happy.
Is that something new? French toast or those?
I don't know. I heard a lot of comments from some of the kids. I don't know.
They use real bread instead of cardboard?
Okay, my turn now? Okay. Welcome everybody, welcome back everyone. It's going to be a wonderful and exciting year, and I hope that, I'll say it this way, that we get the building dirty. We use it, we enjoy it, we have our kids use it, we take advantage of all the resources that are contained in here. It's not something to polish and put up on a shelf and look at it every couple of months or so. Use the building, let our kids use the building to its full advantage. And as far as our custodial staff throughout the district, yes, they have done a fantastic job in preparing our facilities for use as of yesterday. And I've asked that they come to a meeting of ours, hopefully we get this together by next month, to be publicly and officially recognized for their efforts. So, having said that, we can now move on to items for action. I'm sorry, is there any, thank you. If you, if anybody in the public would like to come up to the microphone, please do so, and give us your name and address as always. We're going to have at least one, right? Come on, Kevin.
Anybody?
Somebody, no?
Bueller?
We'll wait. We're going to wait. No one? Okay, so here we go. Items for action. Dr. Johnson, we can do all this?
Yes, you can.
Except for addendum 1.
Yes, including addendum.
No, but we're going to keep that separate.
I'll keep it separate.
Okay, so can I have a motion, please, for action, the PAR and addendum 2 of the PAR?
So moved.
And a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Can I have a motion for approval of addendum 1?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
Thank you. Okay, we need to have a motion to return to executive session for negotiation and...
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
And we're off.